A very good morning to you, our viewers. We are back on your screens. It is Thursday and raining a bit in Lusaka. I'm not sure what's happening in that part of the country where you are. You may just want to tell us how the weather is. Actually, it's very nice weather. It's cozy and a good weather for what? For tea? Or for what?
Yeah, for tea and
For
chilling
chai.
at home.
Yes, for chilling at home. But we are here to just warm you up as you chill at home in case you are. Children are on holiday, of course.
Exactly.
And we've got quite a number of things lined up for the children. Not on this segment show though, but throughout the day as Camnet TV, just to keep them entertained, informed, and educated as well. Otherwise, we are back on your screens. Patrick, good morning.
Good morning, and interesting, like you put it, it has been raining since yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is usually good news for farmers. But I'm also told that the opposite gives farmers a panic.
Panic, a headache. Gives them BP.
As if they can go and complain to heaven to say,
why isn't it raining?
I'm not aware that I just planted last
I think they can open the heavens, open the clouds.
Yeah. So for me, I think this is good news, and we just hope that it will be raining normally across the country, because this is important, especially for us as a country. If we are to have even include the issue of sustainable energy production, that is also vital. If we are to have a good yield in terms of the farming sector, us having a good maize yield for the year 2023, will only depend on the rains, and we only hope that it will rain accordingly, as opposed to a situation where we get to see prolonged droughts or dry spells. Sharon, that would not be good for us as a country. Given that we have been on an issue of delayed supply of farming inputs, but like you put it,
it's a blessing in disguise.
It's a blessing in disguise.
Delayed rain and delayed inputs, they came at the right time, and farmers will no longer complain about, because of this, unless otherwise. However, let's go straight into the morning boost and start the day on that healthy note.
Hello, my name is Arson, aka the Fitness Puppy. We are here at Chonzi Fitness Gym in conjunction with the Camnet TV, and today we are going to do abs. Come along. So the next thing, before you start any other workout, the first thing that you need to do is to stretch. Don't forget to stretch. So first I'm going to start stretching for just 10 to 15 seconds, and here we go. Let's go. And this side. Always be ready for stretching. And let's go back to our business. Okay. Okay, the first workout that we are going to do lash and twist for a minute. And the time starts now. Get ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So just do it slowly for a minute. Let's go. Keep going. 40 seconds. Let's go. 30 seconds. Take it slowly. 20 seconds. Let's go. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and cut. The next one, we are going to do a loading elbow plank. Get ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we go. Let's go. This type of exercise targets muscles in the lower. Let's go. "30 seconds. "20 seconds. Let's go. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and cut. Okay, get ready. Up next, we're doing a leg raises for a minute. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So this type of exercise target muscles within your lower midsection. Let's go. It's not only for the abs, it also helps on your lower back. Keep going. Keep going. Three, 2, 1, and quit.
Right, that is the morning boost. Hopefully you've been following these 5 minutes workout, Patrick. I can tell that 2023 is going to be a good year for you. Your belly is seemingly reducing because of these exercises, so we're hoping for the best. Let's look at how the kwacha is faring against the major convertibles.
Well, $1 is buying at 17 kwacha 6-7 ngwe and selling at 18 kwacha 2 ngwe. The Greater British Pound is buying at 21 kwacha 4-5 ngwe and selling at 21 kwacha 8-8 ngwe. And the Euro is buying at 18 kwacha 8-0 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 17 ngwe. The South African Rand is buying at 1 kwacha 2 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 4 ngwe. Those are your money markets, and like we always say, they vary from one
financial institution to another.
Yeah, so we hope.
Right, let's take a short breather as we usher in our guest this morning. Very interesting, Patrick. We are talking to people in the arts world and looking at the presidential appointments of the permanent secretary and the Ministry of Youth and Arts is coming from the arts sector. Even the first permanent secretary is also coming from the arts sector. Are we seeing a ray of light in the arts industry? Let's take a short break. When we return, we'll be talking to our guests on set.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens Fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is inviting all skillfully gifted, talented and creative soccer players from across Zambia. Ages between 16 and 20 must come, train and join the club. The category of these gifted footballers have the chance to go and market their talent in Europe and USA through Camnet Stars Football Club, a team formed with a vision to produce quality international players. Please do not miss this brief open opportunity given to you. Camnet Stars Football Club could be your gateway to your international soccer career. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Date 12th December 2022 to 21st January 2023. Time 09 hours to 11 hours. Your time to shine is now.
Good news, the rains have started. You need to plan your future. Generational wealth is the way to go. Has grafted avocado plants fruiting within 2 to 3 years for sale at only 90 kwacha each, and ordinary avocados at only 45 kwacha each. Contact us on 0979 753010 or 0962 965 883. We are open from 8 hours to 17 hours, Monday to Friday, at Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill, opposite Hilltop Hospital.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast, and on set, like I mentioned, we've been joined by two great humans, male and female, and they're coming from the arts industry, and for me, really, what comes to my mind when I hear the word art, I think it's drawing. So I'm hoping that you're going to draw me at least while we are together like this and give me that so I can put it in my house. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this interview.
Thank you.
Okay, Patrick will do the honors of
so
we
have Victor Mutekelesha, who is the head at Lukak. This is an interesting project, Sharon, in that we're going to be having it for the first time in Zambia, especially looking at arts. You understand that arts usually focus on music in our country, but
drawing,
we don't look on the other side. And we also have the head curator, that's a Karen Rainey. Interesting, but I'm sure I pronounced your name correctly.
Karen Rainey.
Rainey, okay, interesting.
And Victor Mutelekesha.
Mutelekesha, interesting.
Precisely.
Yeah. Precisely, Mutelekesha. So these are our comrades who are going to help us discuss various issues pertaining to art, especially bordering on the project which they have. They will be launching soon. So let's get started with our interview. Victor, I want us to look at this the Contemporary Art Center. And what is it all about? And first of all, and what category of art are you focusing on so that our viewers can get to understand what you wanted to achieve, especially on this big project?
All right, so the Lusaka Contemporary Art Center is basically a facility that we have kind of managed to put together to help artists access not necessarily world-class, but relevant information for their own development and growth. So it's a project that is set up in 3 parts. We have what we're referring to as a research library, but it's also multitasking space, which is a space of discourse and a space of cultural analysis and artistic exchange among artists. And also we have what we are calling the residency. The residency is a very, it's international kind of way of growing artists by giving them a space where they withdraw from the everyday existence and being given a very ideal environment in which they can think, write, research. So we'll be giving periods of months, or maybe 2 or 3 months, to be in residency for that very purpose. And then we have a gallery space for the purpose of maybe exhibiting certain material that may have been produced at the center, but also material that we will be curating into the center, targeted material.
Interesting.
When you talk about art, really, you didn't pick this. What are you focusing on? Is it just art in general, or you have a specific focus that you've streamlined on that you're going to?
So contemporary art, basically, it's art made by living artists. It's contemporary, and I'm an art historian by profession, and it's always interesting to be asked what exactly is art. But I think for both of us, art is essentially anything that is creative expression. As long as you had a creative intent in creating something, it can be dance, a traditional dance, it can be music, it could even be a music video, it could be fashion, but having a broader view that isn't simply, say, sculpture, paintings and drawings, but trying to see that there is cultural expression that is creative, and as long as it's creatively intended, then we consider that that can be art. And for us, we're trying to open up the idea of what it can be, and not simply drawings, also looking at our traditional expressions and seeing that that perhaps should also be in gallery spaces.
Okay. You've been away for a very long time. Why did you decide to come back?
Actually, though I spent 21 years of my life in Norway, I come back home every year, and I'm here maybe twice a year. And so I haven't detached myself from Lusaka. And I've had reasons to come back, private reasons, all the other years, but this is very special because we are birthing this project, which we hope will become a permanent conduit for us to our motherland. So I haven't come back, I haven't gone, I've been present.
Been present.
In one form or another. Yeah. The same with
every 6 months,
yeah.
I'm never away for more than 6 months.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Great.
So first of all, people may not understand even your background, where you are coming from, both of you, to say how they spent 21 years abroad and everything. Are you able to tell us just a little bit of a background on a professional perspective and why you opted to get too involved in art?
I mean, I've always been interested in the arts. I've been very lucky that my parents have been able to allow me to sort of follow that interest. I mean, as mentioned, I'm an art historian, and when I moved to Norway to start university, which is where my father's from, education is free there, so I thought, why not? It's not a burden on anyone financially for me to pursue something that many perhaps would consider a difficult option in terms of a career. And luckily for me, my career panned out well in that space, but I always had a notion of coming back. I've always thought it would be too difficult. But then you meet someone, we actually met in Norway as friends through the Zambian community there, and it's, Victor's the type of person like, why not? Why not do it in Zambia? Don't just dream of it as a non-existent. It's home. Let's make it happen. If it's not there, let's come back and we make the spaces we feel are missing. Let's come and make them ourselves.
Right.
Interesting. And I would want to also get a little bit of detail on this center? When is it going to be open, especially to the public, and who is eligible to participate or to be involved? Or you have a certain target of to say probably the people from Kablonga or Ibex should just participate? Tell us more about that.
Yeah.
I mean, the center opens on the 6th of January officially to the public, but we have few events before then relevant to the building up to the opening itself. So on the 4th, we're going to have, she's going to sit down with 2 of the artists who will be exhibiting. That will be an interaction. And then thereafter, there will be a panel discussion of Zambian art collectors. And then on the 5th, and then they'll follow a lecture. Then on the 5th, the same will happen. But this time around, we're going to be having a panel discussion of eminent cultural practitioners of our region here. One from Zimbabwe, Rafa Chikukwa, and one from South Africa, Gabriel Nklobo. They'll sit because these are the people that we seek to establish partnerships with, connections with in the region, because we respect of what they do. So, and then the 6th is the opening of the center itself. And everyone that feels the center speaks to their interests, they are more than welcome. We are not a regionalized space. We are an open house for all people that feel the sense of creative, even those people that feel they have kind of a connection, not even a connection, or curiosity. If anyone that is curious to what we're doing or have an interest or whatsoever, that's going to be their home.
Interesting.
Are you keeping the location a secret?
No. The location
Valley.
it is in Chamba
I've
Valley.
seen you, going around in seconds. Like, where are you?
It's in
You know,
Chamba
what a car.
the space, the location is very new. It's called, we call it New Chamba Valley. We started developing the entire location in around early 2000s. And the property that we've built there, we started developing it about 4 years ago-ish, maybe towards about 3 years ago. So all the roads are new. So it's called Musekes and Makole Road on the junction of it. That's where the property is. It's not a secret.
Okay. So the center is specifically designed for that. Okay. What type of equipment do you have for people to use in terms of bringing out their artisticness in them at the center? Do they have to come with their own equipment? Do they find everything there? Do they need to pay? You know, all those things people want to know.
I mean, I think the most important, it is non-profit. Victor is the founder, and I mean, it's very impressive that a private individual has come in to create the space that he felt wasn't there when he was developing. And the library is the main thing. It's just having access to materials that, you know, you can read. We will try to sort of make sure that there is, internet access and computers for those that are not able to bring their own, for example, laptops, so that they can also access materials online. And in terms of the exhibition space, like you're saying, like who's open, who's eligible. Any artists that are interested in talking to us, maybe they have a project, they don't have somewhere to show it, we can schedule that in later in. You know, we have a discussion with them, we see if it fits in. So like right now we have 4 artists, all with a very different connection to Zambia, who will be showing in this exhibition. All have a connection to Lusaka, various backgrounds, and then with the next exhibition we can incorporate with,
Victor, it's non-profit. How do you intend to sustain the whole project?
So here's the argument we intend to make. First, I start from myself.
Yeah.
For many, many years, I was part of the Zambia National Visual Arts Council. I'm still part of the Zambia National Visual Arts Council.
Okay.
And it was an organization that was reliant on donor funding.
Yeah.
Now, after so much understanding of what it means to invest into the arts, I don't want to consider that funding as donation. No. It's an investment into a project that is meant for the good of society. Because when you bring about the artistry in people, when you make people understand themselves through their own culture and arts, there is a sense of pride that you cannot quantify or even put a price tag on. So when, for example, corporations come to us and say they would like to participate, they are not donating anything to us. They are investing in it. I've spent my entire life savings on the project.
On the project.
My entire life savings. And it's crazy that my wife had to allow me to do this.
Yeah, it
she
is
believed
crazy.
that this is something that was relevant. It was a realization of a greater thing other than the immediate financial gain. So if I have, sorry for using myself as an example, if a private individual who is just an artist, I have literally nothing right now. Everything is dumped in that project. Why shouldn't there be somebody else with greater resource, find it worthy to finance artists in residency, help us acquire even more equipment, or even like financing, importation of books or material, production of books, because we have to produce knowledge at that space.
Yeah.
Our intention is to make sure that our bookshelves are filled with knowledge that we ourselves generate, and then it becomes inheritance for our children.
Our stories.
Yeah, our stories.
Brilliant. Would you like to add on, Karen, maybe?
Yeah.
No, I mean, so in terms of the funding, there's various, artistic funds globally, and I think that's also where expertise coming in from that diaspora, where we have knowledge of, how to apply, how to talk to UNESCO, whatever it may be, and find a way to fund it. We've been very concerned with creating a non-commercial space where people can just come in and discuss, have, fruitful discussions about culture, what direction do we want to go, create something that's uniquely Zambian. And as Victor said, it's an investment, trying to get these government or private individuals to understand that this is an investment for us in the long term, to have these ideas and exchanges.
Interesting. In fact, we had a clip on the center, a bit of what the center is about. I think our moderator will be playing that in the background, I think, as we discuss, as he gets to locate it. There's an interesting aspect in Zambia where we have seen, I think Victor, you should be privy to this fact, considering that you've been also part of the visual arts in Zambia. So I want to, there are a number of projects they will start, and most of them you discover that sustainability or art centers, or the space where artists can gather and be creative and do things that us as citizens we are usually excited about, especially when we see these artifacts when you put across as artists. You'd find that how to sustain that project becomes a problem. So now, how do we ensure that even at government level we sustain such a project to ensure that we continuously tell our stories as a country?
I think sustainability of art projects should first be looked at in this way. What is the value of art first, right? So when you think the value of art is, if you equate the value of art to the monetary, here's an object and here's money. If you do that, you're totally wrong. That's a very unsustainable way of looking at the value of art. The value of art, it's here. It's in the mind, it's in the heart, it is incalculable what you do by changing a mind to perceive himself differently. And art elevates people. Art elevates the sense of self. That value is incalculable.
In traditional dances, just sort of in cut in, they don't disappear because there's no monetary value attached to it. Komboka won't disappear because
it keeps going.
If there's an interest, if there is a genuine interest in something that people collectively find useful or expressive, they will continue it with or without funding. I mean, ceremonies, traditional ceremonies, I don't think anyone has concerned themselves over, like, can we afford to do this year? You'll make it happen. And so I think our job is getting people on board to say, like, okay, this is something we can do come rain or shine. And if it means, like in my case, where I work, for Victor pro bono, then it's like, I'll find those hours of the day, which I will put to this project unpaid, that's fine. And trying to find other like-minded people who are willing to sacrifice some of their time or their energy. For some it might be time or energy, for others it might be financial resources or materials. So I truly believe
you will
that
always find people that are committed regardless, come rain, come sunshine. When there is a conditionality, especially financial, then you're going to have problems. The moment that dries out, then the project is gone. We intend, when I approached her to say, Karen, I would like you to be part of this project.
Yes.
There was no question, where's money, where's what. She just, okay, listen, I've been wanting to do this back home myself anyway, so let's go and do it.
Sharon, what are you going to do about it?
I think I'm going to join them.
You're going to
In one way or the other. I will visit in one way or the other. But anyways, let's talk about, you've been following, obviously, the government's appointments that have happened at least this week and maybe this year under the Ministry of Youth and Arts, specifically designed for arts as a ministry. And the ones that have been appointed to at least spearhead this ministry are those coming from the arts industry. Is this a plus?
You have to be
for
specific,
you?
Sharon.
Of course, it's art, like they mentioned, art is
You have to
wide.
be specific. Who have been appointed?
She's talking about Pilates, I guess.
Yeah.
Of course, and congratulations. Also, the first PS also is also from the arts industry. So really, does this mean there's political will or there's more understanding in terms of how important the arts are? Are we seeing any progress insofar as this sector is concerned?
What's your take?
I mean, we come from, and it's the way we organize things in Zambia is slightly different than other places we have, so that we combine often tourism, arts, and sports in this very difficult combination. And of course, I mean, it's hard to compete with football or the Victoria Falls. So for us, of course, it's very nice to see that there is an interest in also having representation from the arts field, but possibly, I think for cultural and national identity, maybe traditions and the arts would ideally be their own entity. But of course, there's reasons that they're organized the way they are, resources are distributed the way they are. So for us, it's nice.
Yeah.
But I think in the long term, it would be
nice to have
On
arts, tourism, and it's the same
Football's
thing.
hard to compete
Football
with.
is hard to compete with. I always say that.
Right.
Because
You're
really,
right.
like as it is, you fall under probably 3-4 ministries.
Yes.
Because you're under tourism.
Yes.
You're under
Education.
arts.
Yeah.
You're under this. You know,
Education, yeah.
like you have nowhere really to run to
Yeah.
specifically. And
Since we got our independence, the arts specifically, they've been almost like Abanabanshu. You're like orphans, like moved all over the place, and your brother is there, your sister is there, just like scratching your head.
you have to knock so many doors.
High time we had this being sung by many people before me. There has to be a Ministry of Arts and Culture.
yes.
Just like that. We cannot, or they should have a special PS, maybe that is dedicated only
that.
to arts and culture. This is too wide and too much valuable to the nation for us to just be frivolously moving us all over the place. Maybe we haven't done a very good job to argue our case as artists as to
We need to
why
lobby.
we need to have this. There is the value of it is more than, in my case, I argue the export of copper itself. Because when we stop exporting ourselves, when we stop admiring everything out there but looking within, how much money are we going to keep within the nation, you know?
And Victor, I want to understand to what extent will the center also help us in terms of preserving our culture as a country? Because I understand we are getting swayed with whatever we see on TV, especially that our content providers are mostly foreign and they are interested in spearheading their culture. And yes, our children are getting excited about that and not what is Zambian. So to what extent is the center trying to reinforce that aspect?
Just one point with regards to foreign influence. So usually, the culture and arts are usually used as a marketing force for their selves. So here's what we intend to do at the center. We've spoken about our library. We intend to use this space as a depository of Zambia artistic and cultural knowledge. And that way, that material becomes accessible to our children in schools, in universities, and other institutions. And another long-term goal is to make sure that the material that is deposited in that space gets to influence curriculums, artistic and cultural curriculums in our schools. So we are in it a long haul. So we intend to work on the minds of our children. As we deposit the knowledge, we disperse the knowledge. So that's how we're going to do it.
Interesting. I think even as Camnet TV, we are keen to promote culture as well as art. So we'll see, like Sharon Karimbura is saying, that how can we fit in? We'll see how we fit in to show that.
I mean, partnerships are not all about finances.
Yes,
You
yes.
can offer one or two things, maybe
Workshops.
my time,
Yeah.
media workshops,
Yes.
We want more cultural writers.
Yes.
Cultural writers, critics.
Yeah, we can fit in that aspect. Yes.
Yes.
We have art journalists that can work as well. So
That's interesting. Yeah, our dear viewers, you've been watching a special interview with in the studio. We have Karen and Victor. They are running the Lusaka Contemporary Art Center. It's an interesting venture that you need to take an interest in, and soon it will be open to the public. And we'll be following that, especially on our news and current affairs aspect, to just get updates regarding how it is going to be developing. Interestingly, I want to find out, as you try to launch, have you also engaged other stakeholders, including the government or others who can equally participate?
Children especially. I'm pro children, and I feel when you start them young and groom them, grow the interest, they're really going to help the facility.
I mean, the artistic community was the first thing, because this needs to be their home. They need to meet each other, exchange ideas, the same way that a craftsman gets ideas from a mentor, whatever it may be. This is a space for them to interact, engage with each other. But with, even in Chamba Valley, I remember we talked about how it would be with children. It's like, there's already children, literally, you stand there, there's people, local residents. So starting first, engaging the local community, the children there, maybe they can come to workshops, reading circles or whatever it may be, and then you can expand gradually, seeing and adjust according to what local needs dictate. We can't just decide. We need to adjust as well according to what's...
We'll move with the flow.
Your concluding remarks, because I can see we make it more than necessary.
We just hope that this becomes a safe place for all creatives. That's our long-term goal.
Interesting. When it comes to fruition.
I really just hope that lots of interesting conversations can take place and that everyone feels welcome. So that's I suppose the most important thing for me.
All right. We let them loose. We've been having a conversation with the arts guys. I'm finding it hard to just mention the whole long thing. Contemporary, look up. We will still continue to have these conversations so that it should stick in people's mind. The more you talk about something, the more people get to understand and wanting to know more and learn of what is happening. This is one of the first and an interesting kind. And obviously many would want to flock and just see what is happening. Of course, when you open, brace yourselves for a lot of people because they'll be excited. This is probably something that has never happened for us. We see these arts exhibitions, but not the way you're mentioning. Yes.
People can always go to.
People can always go to. We surely wish you all the best, and we hope that it is sustainable and successful at the end of the day. We'll be having you from time to time to have these beautiful conversations.
Thanks a lot.
All right, let's take a short break.
Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is inviting all skillfully gifted, talented and creative soccer players from across Zambia. Ages between 16 and 20 must come, train and join the club. The category of these gifted footballers have the chance to go and market their talent in Europe and USA through Camnet Stars Football Club, a team formed with a vision to produce quality international players. Please do not miss this brief open opportunity given to you. Camnet Stars Football Club could be your gateway to your international soccer career. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Date 12th December 2022 to 21st January 2023. Time 09 hours to 11 hours. Your time to shine is now.
Good news. The rains have started. You need to plan your future. Generation wealth is the way to go. Has grafted avocado plants fruiting within 2 to 3 years for sale at only 90 kwacha each, and ordinary avocados at only 45 kwacha each. Contact us on 0979 753010 or 0962 965 883. We are open from 8 hours to 17 hours Monday to Friday at Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill, opposite Hilltop Hospital.
A falcon, known for flying high speeds, unmistakably grace and flying incredible long distances. Falcon Express is equal to the task with your deliveries. Friendly and reliable, a company that cares for you, local and international coverage, company that empowers its customers on time, every time, all day. Nationwide delivery.
Send your parcel through Falcon Express to Mongu, Kabwe, Ndola, Kapiri, Kitwe, Chingola, Chipata, Livingstone, Mazaboka, Kasama, Solwezi, Kalumbila, Chililabombwe, Luansha, Kalulushi. Get in touch with us on +260 971 130 766 and drop your parcels at Falcon Express. Falcon Express. Your parcels are safe with us.
Welcome back. You are still watching the Camnet Breakfast Show with me, Patrick Soko, and Shalom Kalimbola. Together, we will be with you up to the hour of 9, and we've already tackled quite a number of segments. Interestingly, we had our interview on contemporary arts, and it was quite an interesting one. Kalimbola, we haven't interviewed such a fraternity
and you know, I'm already imagining how that place, how that center is going to be. I've seen people post to say, you know, the problem with me is that when I attend interviews, I'm already imagining myself in that office working and stuff. Exactly what's happening to me, I'm imagining that center already. How beautiful it's going to look, how I'm going to walk in with Chimwemwe, you know, with his artistic mind.
Yeah, you need to introduce him.
I will definitely do that. I will definitely do that. I'll take him there. I'll take him there.
Yeah, so that's quite an interesting project. And you know, as Zambians, we need to always treasure our own. And when we have a passion in something, we always have to go for it. I think they are a good example. You know, you don't have to wait for the government to do that. If you can, as a citizen, you just have to do it and make sure that it works out for people. You don't know how others you may be helping, because I understand that the center will be helping quite a number of young people.
Quite a number of people.
Yeah, so it's quite an interesting. Do you have any stories we are zooming in, Madam Kalimbola, there?
Of course, this is a run of our Zambia's fourth mobile network operator, Beeline Telecoms Trading as Z Mobile in Zambia has been launched. Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutadi tasked the new mobile network operator to that is fully owned by Zambians. Again, one good thing, owned by Zambians, to help bridge the digital divide and provide affordable and reliable services. Mr. Mutadi also hopes that Z Mobile will help to foster robust and effective mobile data and voice services and help drive a network that will ensure digital financial solutions for financial inclusion. And Z Online Chairman Kelvin Hambwezia says the company will ensure that the business objectives are aligned to government strategy of driving and promoting innovation and digitalization in contributing to sustainable development through mobile network operators. Mr. Hambwezia says that increasing social economic standards require a reliable digital infrastructure adding that 130 million United States dollars has so far been invested, with another 20,000 United States dollars earmarked for investment towards the company's marketing and human resource component.
Interesting.
So this is finally the fourth mobile operator that has
you and I have written a lot of
so
stories
many.
about the fourth mobile service
At
Uzi.
Uzi it's expressed interest. It overstayed its welcome without starting operations. We're not sure what was happening in the background though, but this one was launched yesterday by Minister of Technology and Science, and hopefully it sees what we call, is it Day of Light or Light of Day?
Day of Light.
Zipporah is always correcting me on that.
Night of the day.
Yes.
Interesting, but yeah, I hope, with digital technology advancements, I think it's easier for these people to get around and compete favorably with the big guys, the three guys who have been
always
producing services that are almost identical, and the price range that is within the same range. So I think this will come with a different twist, probably because as a new player on the market, they would also want to leverage on their own opportunities that they can create, and also make it easier for consumers. When you have variety as consumers, if you are abused elsewhere, you tend to go elsewhere. So we just hope that they can also prove to be a better alternative, because it will amount to nothing if they are going to join the three in terms of the challenges they have been given Zambians. Code dropping, fluctuation of internet, all those things.
Especially fluctuating of internet. They always find, almost every year, Zicta always finds these three mobile operators for failing to meet the standard that they've promised the people. So really, we cannot have the same things happening every year. It's become traditional. It's a norm. It's perpetual. They know they're going to be fined and they'll pay. Just like, I don't even know if they pay anyway, because these monies that they find them, it's quite huge. And when you're in business, whatever coin you take out of your business is something. I've learned that from a friend who loves so much money that he would actually sell you for money. But anyways, Vice President Mutale Nalumango has been ordered by Cavendish University through a scholarship that they are calling Mutale Nalumango Scholarship Program. And the program, which commences on in the January 2023 intake, has seen 2 females being awarded to study medicine. Mrs. Nalumango says she values education and hopes that many will benefit from such programs. Meanwhile, Cavendish University Deputy Vice Chancellor Oscar Correa says the school attaches great importance to education related to science, hence offering compulsory information communications technology to all students. Let's look at this clip as we also look at the Zambia National Service. They were celebrating their 50 years yesterday of service, that is the Golden Jubilee, and a statue was erected in Chongwe for one of their gallant men, as well as the drills that they usually do. Let's look at these 2 stories as we continue the breakfast show.
The United Party for National Development has bragged of placing education on top of its agenda with the introduction of free education policy, which has seen massive recruitment of pupils. Regardless of this development, other stakeholders have complained that free education should be extended to universities. Whether that is feasible or not remains subject of debate. Wednesday, Cavendish University Zambia launched the Mutale Nalumango Scholarship Program. The program, which has commenced with 2 girls being awarded fully funded scholarship in the Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery for the January 2023 intake. Cavendish University Zambia Deputy Vice Chancellor Oscar Correa says the institution places great importance on matters of technology and science, as well as girls, with an equal representation of officers at management level.
We seek to make students employable, but we know employment is not always easy, so we try to also make them entrepreneurs. And wherever they are, we want them to become ethical leaders. And we believe that when we do this, we're achieving the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which is about quality education, and also supporting the 8th Zambia National Development Plan. We also are very keen on developing STEM in Zambia. And to this extent, we've made ICT skills mandatory for all our students in the university. In addition to this, we have also partnered with the government of Zambia to offer a course on project management, which we've been running for the last 5 years.
Technology and Science Minister Felix Ntati was also present at the event, where he expressed hope that many are willing to grow the science and technology sector.
You know, as a nation, as we embark to be digitally fit, STEM becomes the foundation of that fitness. So I'm really grateful that you're extending digital fitness to the young ones. That is the future of Zambia. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Vice President Mutale Nalumango, a former student at Cavendish University, Zambia, urged the institution to grow the scholarship program so that many can benefit over time.
This is a very great day for me, and I believe for the recipients and for Zambia in general, because at the end of the day, the benefit goes to society. You educate one, particularly a girl that we are starting with, you educate the nation. So it is a very special day for me today. This is something that actually is speaking. It's because there were institutions like Cavendish that are giving, to start with, 2 individuals education in partnership. That it speaks volumes to Zambia today. So today we are here to actually launch the awarding of scholarships, the Mutale Nalumango STEM Scholarship in Cavendish.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News. The Zambia National Service has celebrated its Golden Jubilee with a promise to contribute effectively to the national food basket and becoming commercially viable. Zambia National Service Commandant Lieutenant General Maliti Soluchi says ZNS, in line with the directive by President Hakainde Hichilema, is working tirelessly to ensure it delivers accordingly. Lieutenant General Soluchi was speaking in Chongwe. The commemoration was held under the theme celebrating 50 years of rendering unbroken development to our motherland, Zambia.
Zambia Defense Force is ever ready to respond to any security threat, be it at short notice. With that said, permit me, Mr. President, to now shift your attention to the milestones that the service has scored over the years. Zambia National Service has recorded a number of successes in the areas of agriculture, production, and infrastructure development. In the area of infrastructure development, the service, through its initial Builders Brigade program, has participated in the construction of the Tanzania-Zambia railway line and the Tanzania-Zambia Mafuta pipeline under the supervision of the Chinese contractors. Participation in the construction of the old city market, as well as the recent refurbishment of the same gutted city market. Besides that, Mr. President, sir, we completed the construction of the Livingstone Modern City Market and the city's intercity bus terminus, as well as the UB Market in Mansa and Kaunda Square Market in Lusaka.
In speaking at the same event, Defense Minister Ambrose Lufuma has commended ZNS for the innovations it's coming up with, adding that it is a reliable tool for government to attain life-enhancing exploits for the nation.
My office shall work closely with the Zambia National Service Command to assist the service exert more effort and facilitate the creation of strong synergies with key stakeholders that will result in the speedy turnaround of the Zambia National Service shoe and tailoring factories. We are very confident that the 2 ventures can assist to wean government off the unnecessary importation of military uniforms and footwear. With the pressure that the dollar has been exerting on our kwacha, we believe our ministry can leverage the capacities within in order to contribute to the finding of lasting solutions to the challenge.
Meanwhile, President Hakainde Hichilema says the military personnel should strive to be commercially viable, urging ZNS to enhance their farming capacity countrywide.
What we're considering for now, further discussions are on, is at least to introduce voluntary national service training for those young people who would wish to go through the process. We should get to that very quickly, and I lay it further on the table of the commander and other chiefs, service chiefs here. Let us, and the defense minister, home affairs minister, and cabinet, let us put this on the table. I think it's good for our country. In the absence of the liberation war and the heroes that we represent and remember here, in peace times, we would like our military to engage in reconstructing our country, bridges, roads, food production. I think that's a good thing to keep our men and women busy in peace times.
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News.
We'll talk later.
All right, there you have it. Those are some of the stories that we ran yesterday. And on set, we are joined by another guest, Mr. Eugene Kabilika, who is former Caritas Zambia Executive Director. He's working on a lot of things in the background and will avail to us in due time. We have him here to help us discuss a number of issues happening in our country. He is quite a brain to tap into, and we're always very excited to have you on set. Welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. I'm happy to be here today.
Patrick?
Mr. Kabilika, you are known especially based in the NGO world, especially when it comes to providing checks and balances, especially when you served as Caritas Executive Director. You were among people giving checks and balances to then the Patriotic Front administration, especially on governance issues, constitution, and other pertinent issues of national governance. Now, let's zero in as we come to the end of the year 2022. We are looking at the UPND administration and how they have fared this far. So we are reflecting on various policy pronouncements and many other governance issues. But to get started, we'll start with a blanket question, Mr. Kabilika. So far, how do you think we are faring as a country under the UPND administration?
You can touch on the sectors that you're comfortable
just
with.
two,
because it's quite wide.
But
yeah.
zero in.
It took...
yeah, okay. You know, that's a fair question. To sort of look at back and see what the UPND has done so far in the last 1 year. We cannot zero in what they've done without comparing how we were as a country.
Yes.
In terms of our own relationships with others, our image abroad, our image even locally, how are we faring? I would say that so far we are in the right trajectory, as some people may say. It's like a person who is beaten and he falls down and he picks it up and then begins to walk again. We had a lot of challenges before in terms of governance, in terms of the rule of law, in terms of our social well-being, as it were. We are sort of now picking up ourselves. I'll say we are picking up ourselves in a number of areas that the government has emphasized on as it relates to the manifesto that they were promising the Zambian people to move forward. Of course, there are huge challenges that are lie ahead, and there are bottlenecks that the government has made. But usually what people say is that a good person is always seen how he resolves around the problem he faces and the challenges that he faces. If you fail to rise up to the challenges that you face, then you can't move forward and you cannot improve. So generally I can say that the country at the moment is in the right trajectory economically, politically in terms of the rule of law, socially in terms of provision of education, and also helping those that are vulnerable. Yeah, I'm talking in terms of now social cash transfer. But of course, a number of other things needs to be done in there. But that's what I would sort of kind of judge at the moment, yeah.
Interesting. You are also of an interest, a bias towards the environment. Now, we are looking at government policies. Are they speaking to each other, given that the country will be embarking on a journey to 6 hours of load shedding on a daily basis? Now,
more than.
Now, we are also talking about deforestation, and we are looking at issues pertaining to climate change, and where we have experienced low rainfall, rather, then we also have the experienced dry spells. Now, are these policies speaking to each other, Mr. Kabedika? And what would be your take, especially when it comes to us running the energy sector?
Yeah, we have a number of policies that I would say are quite progressive in terms of protecting our environment. What has been a big problem for us as Zambia is implementing these policies. We seem to be implementing them half-heartedly. When we see that they may be injurious to economic interests of other players, we slow down. When we see that it is not, we sort of move forward. For some strange reason, we think that the Kariba Dam is always fueled by the waters from the Zambezi, northwestern province, the source of the Zambezi River. That fuels the Kariba Dam. I think that thinking is erroneous. We are wrong. The Kariba Dam is filled up by all the tributaries of the Zambezi River. Here in Lusaka, it's like kind of a watershed. We do not have a tributary that runs through the Zambezi River before the Kariba Dam. Our main rivers here, Lusaka, Chongwe, and all these rivers, they go into Zambezi quite all right, but it goes after the Kariba Dam. But there are other streams on the western side of Lusaka from Mumbwa, all along there. If you look at, let's just give an example of a small stream that was extremely important, Mwembeshi. If you go to Mwembeshi now, it is dry.
It's dry.
Yeah. That dryness indicates that it no longer facilitates water into the Kafue. And you know that Kafue runs the hydropower in the Namarundu, in Kafue Gorge. And now there's a lower gorge which is coming up. And so if it no longer has water throughout the year to feed, then the water will go down. And also that explains many of the tributaries of the Zambezi River that is supposed to feed it before the Kariba Dam. So when the mighty Zambezi River now has less water from Kaleni Hills in Mwinilunga and in part of the Western Province and all that, then the waters in the Kariba go down. If you compare at the time when the dam was constructed, the amount of water that was there was very stable throughout the year because of these streams that were annually flowing. But most of the streams that we have that are inland are no longer annually flowing. Why? The environment issue that you're talking about. People have cut trees around the river. Some people have made gardens around. They've silted the rivers, and the rivers can no longer hold water. Even the land itself, because of the way we do our agriculture, it has lost its capacity to hold water. And so we feel as if the rains have reduced. Any amount of rain, no matter how heavy the rain is, water just runs away. You know, one of the indicators that you don't need to be really a scientist. If at the beginning of the rain season, usually, you see that waters that come into the rivers are brown. But immediately you reach December, January, all the waters are supposed to be clear. An indication that there is the soaking of the water, and there is no more running of topsoil into the streams. But this time, if you go around the country, you discover that water remains brown even in January, all the way up to April. That is an indicator that we are still losing topsoils, and the land has no capacity now to hold that water. So if land has no capacity to hold that water inland, like you know, here where we are, it's kind of a Dambo thing moving into Unza there, the Goma Lakes, and if you go to the Goma Lakes, I don't know whether the water still flows there.
It's still there, but
it is really like
in many more quantities.
So it means that now the capacity for this place to hold this water that used to flow into Ngwerere and Chongwe and keep the Chongwe River flowing throughout the year is no longer there. So Chongwe River dries
no water into the Zambezi River. So Kablabasa in Mozambique, you also be suffering the same vein. If you look at Luangwa River itself, silted, in the past you wouldn't see it so much sand. If you cross the Luangwa River, you discover it has its water was throughout the year very good, and it was naturally flowing like that. This is where of course, economic developments have an impact on the environment, but we need to strike a balance. We need to go back and rethink the way we are doing our agriculture, the way we are doing our industrialization, the way we construct our roads, the way we're constructing our housing units. For me, it pains me when people cut trees to construct houses.
Now that you also
the passion for the environment is top notch.
Yeah, it's top notch. So there is no harm for people to clear a small space where they want to build their mansion and leave trees there, because trees are essential. You build a house, it doesn't add anything into the atmosphere, nothing. But the trees will give you, because of perspiration and all that kind of systems, it keeps the ecosystems alive. And then you'll have your rains and you won't have your droughts.
Brilliant. I think you were about to ask something.
Interesting. Now that you mentioned one of the rivers, the Luangwa River. Now, we have this problem of mining there, where we are seeing traditional leaders preferring mining over conserving that environment for let's say, for wildlife. Yes. Now, what would be your take on that?
No, me, I'd be extremely cautious and hesitant to introduce any mining in that area. It's a sensitive ecosystem area. You know, there are a lot of the wildlife there, and the connection between the wildlife, the people that stay there, the river systems and all that. Disturb that with the open pit mining, you are done. And the people who complain now will be Mozambique. There is no technology at the moment that can give you any balance of that. Let not be cheated. There is nothing. But people go, if people think that there's so much copper there, we can make quick money. No, quick things is a bit of a problem. Yeah, even a child takes 9 months to really become fully. You can't have quick babies.
No.
You have to wait. So even in the way we run the economy, in the way we want to raise money and to become sustainable in our livelihoods, we should not do quick things. We must, quick things are not sustainable. They just pass like a fast-moving car. Just zooms past and that's it. So we have to be very cautious about that. So I'll try to discourage any mining there. Let us keep that as a tourist area, and we can improve the area in terms of tourism, and we can attract more people, and people there can have more jobs. Those people in Luangwa, I know some of them are arguing that no, we want jobs. Yes. They should take a visit to Northwestern Province and ask the people of Northwestern Province whether they have jobs with all the mining that is happening in Northwestern Province. They should go there and ask. And when they come back from there, then they'll
decide whether they want those mining activities. Yeah. Now, Mr. Kavika, on Tuesday, President Hakainde Hichilema had a press conference. I'm sure you were following with keen interest, looking at some of the sectors that you have an eye on. Let's talk about the issue of constitutional reforms and everything surrounding the legal fraternity in what the president said. Did you pick that?
Yeah, but I know and I'm aware that there is an idea, well, not really an idea. Many Zambians, including the current government, would want to reform the constitution. But many people talk about lacunas in the constitution.
Exactly.
But apart from lacunas, because lacunas are small little things that you can adjust here and there, but there's a whole lot of change that needs to be made. For example, we do not have the Bill of Rights in the current constitution. So it means there's need to make sure that the enhanced Bill of Rights, which we already have, can find itself in the constitution. And that means we have to ask government to do a referendum, because that's what the constitution says, so that people of Zambia can vote to include the Bill of Rights. And that is extremely important. The president moved further to deal with the issue of the death penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
The death penalty is sitting in the Bill of Rights. And in order for us to make sure that the right to life is absolute, there is no derogatory provisions as it is in the current constitution that, yeah, you have right to life, but if you kill someone, we can kill you. If you you rob someone using guns, we can kill you. If you commit treason, we kill you. So that is the but of the right to life. In other words, you can't have a right to life absolutely. So what we are saying now, no, we want the person, even if they commit murder, they commit treason, they commit, or they should not be killed, they should be punished in another way. So it means we are absolutely giving them the right to life.
Yeah.
So in order for us to completely change that, it needs also to be reflected in the Bill of Rights. And therefore, constitutional reforms will have to take into account the Bill of Rights. And we should not be shy away. We should find the money to do the referendum. And we should not make the same mistake of having the referendum coincide with the elections 2026 as it was in 2016. And then it lamentably failed. So we should learn from the mistakes that were made in the possible. This is the time to start now. I'm hoping that maybe to even move forward in 2023, we should start in earnest to deal with the constitutional reforms so that we can amend the lacunas and also make constitutional changes that are alive and responsive to the needs of the Zambians. In doing so, the process from the beginning may be calling upon the Minister of Justice. The process of doing this should be transparent from the very beginning and inclusive, so that we make all these laws and changes using consensus rather than others bulldozing, pulling others in, even if they are screaming and all they are to the changes that you want. No, we must arrive at consensus. That is how we failed with the issues of butane. Others were moving forward, others were screaming, no, please don't move this way, you are dragging us. No, don't do noise here. No, don't worry, this is good for you. In the end, it just completely collapsed. We don't want such, and the resources that were put there, you can imagine, that were wasted. So we don't want to go in that direction again.
First of all, I also want to clarify this aspect, Mr. Kabirika. I know the constitution is one issue you have been also advocating again for. Let's look at the issue of the death penalty, for instance. Others have argued to say it's not enough to remove it in the penal code, but you also have to look at the constitutional aspect, because so that you can, and to work on the constitution, you would need a referendum. That's what others have argued. But this government says it has been brave enough to remove it from the penal code, which is under reform at the moment through the Zambia Law Development Commission. Now, do we need a referendum for us to remove the death penalty?
To completely making sure that it doesn't appear and it doesn't force any judge to pass a sentence of death. Yes, we need to go backwards and go to the Bill of Rights where it is sitting, because it comes under the right to life. Every Zambian has a right to life. But in that provision of having a right to life, it has derogations there, that you have a right to life, but if you kill someone, you don't have a right to life. It is sitting in that.
The one we are using at the moment.
Now, the penal code guides the judge to pass a sentence. So what they've done is, to avoid any judge passing a sentence, you remove it in the penal code. So then the judge would not say, oh yeah, the penal code says death penalty, so I sentence you to death by hanging, because that is what we use, by hanging until you are pronounced dead. As a member of the Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace, at that time I was still in Monze, I was a coordinator for Justice and Peace in Monze Diocese. And also with the other actors at national level, the late Samuel Mulaflafu, Father Joe Komakoma is still there, the current president for Transparency International, Zambia, Mr. Sampa Kalungu. He was working for Caritas. At that time it was Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace. We started a campaign against the death penalty. It was extremely unpopular those days. You go on the radio station, that time there was only Radio Phoenix, in terms of community radio station. And you know, let the people talk, and these phone-in program, people will ambush you. you are promoters of thuggery and people who are going to kill others, and why are you campaigning against me? It was quite tough. But I was happy that we didn't give up all along up to the time when we had the last constitutional amendment, the technical team during Michael Sata's. And I attended the national let me just call it the National Assembly to consider the Constitution at that time. So we pushed for the death penalty not to be in the Constitution, so that the right to life is just right to life. And there was a huge debate, and we forced matters into a vote. And I was surprised that actually we, the promoters of the removal of death penalty, lost with a very small margin. So then I was comforted that yes, the Zambians have moved now to think about this death penalty.
They are now realizing.
I mean, they are realizing that you don't teach a person that killing is bad by killing them.
By killing them.
Yeah, so they don't learn anything. They are dead. Anyway.
They are dead.
Yeah.
They are no longer here.
They are no longer hearing them. So we must do another way of punishing them. So they are right to say we must look at the Constitution as well, so that these two can go together. Yes, we have removed in the penal code, and we are in the process of removing that is good. But let's go to the Constitution and also make sure that the right to life there is given absolutely without any derogations to it. That is the
Let's
point
also bring in the issue of the Public Order Act before we completely move on from the constitutional amendments. It's been on the table for a very long time. Successful governments have promised to review this and to come up with something that is tangible, something that is responsive to the needs of the people, something that is of now, you know. But are we seeing this administration going that route, or it's just mere rhetoric?
No. As far as I know, even if I'm doing things quietly,
yes.
I did make a submission to the amendment of the Public Order Act, a comprehensive one, and through the Parego Alliance Network, and also I think through Law Association of Zambia. And I can say and confirm to you that I have seen, I have read, and I have participated in sessions to amend it. Well, it's not really to amend, we're talking about repealing the entire law. And when it comes out, I'm not authorized to release anything. When it comes, we will no longer be talking about the Public Order Act.
I pray so.
Yeah, even its name will completely change.
Interesting.
And the emphasis is exactly what you have said. It will emphasize on protecting Zambians to gather and assemble, rather than to control them when they gather and then they assemble. But the question is, how can police protect Zambians when they want to gather? It has quite some interesting, articles.
I can't wait to read that. I can't wait to read that. I can't wait to see it come to,
Yeah, so maybe we can just push the Minister of Justice so that they speed up the process.
So at this stage, we are the Minister of Justice.
Yeah, I think so. As far as I know, the Law Development Commission has finished its work because it made all the consultations and the final copy done. So it should be at the Minister of Justice. I'm hoping they don't remove anything. It just goes the way it is. It will be really one of the best laws.
Exactly. Elias, kindly put your keys down. You are disturbing us. Pashik?
Yeah. Now, I also want to get your perspective, Mr. Kabirika. Interestingly, we had quite a number of issues, and the mining sector is one issue President Hichilema also touched on. Now, we also look, but people are particularly concerned over how we are handling issues pertaining to Konkola Copper Mines, KCM, and Vedanta issue there, and also the issue of Mopani. On KCM, people are saying that these discussions of the court should be expedited so that KCM should be running as it should, because it is slowing down growth, especially on the copper belt.
Yeah, of course, I could say I'm one personally who is kind of disappointed or taken aback in terms of the speed at which we are dealing with the KCM thing, because now that the prices of copper are up on the international market, Zambia would have been making money from there in order to have these resources go into the social sector, help into agriculture, help generally to lift the standard of life, and also improve, our kwacha. Since we make a lot of forex from those mines, but I'm alive and aware that because those things became legal contestations, with the KCM. And there are things that were done which sometimes are difficult to dismantle. So you and me can only wish that in 2023 the government can move as fast as they can to make sure that they unlock. I'm using the words HH always likes. Perhaps,
the big words.
You
Please
know,
just don't use the big words.
I used the unlocking issue before he was inaugurated. There's a statement I gave him to say now that I inaugurated, these are the issues. We must unlock. Yeah, so unlock KCM, unlock Mopani, so that these entities can become part and parcel of the revival of the Zambian economy. Those who are involved, of course, Vedanta is a big shareholder and others. Things happened. Let us resolve these issues so that we can move as quickly as possible. We should not drag the thing further. For me, further than the end of next year's quarter would be the maximum we should drag it. Let's resolve it by the end of first quarter 2023 so that moving on, KCM as well as Mopani can bring life to the Copperfield again, offer jobs for people that, and suppliers that are there. That would be a good way to go. So people are right to complain that we are slow, we are not moving quickly with to resolve this issue because it is affecting the economy of the Commonwealth.
Interesting. Now, also talking about the economic matters, Mr. Kabirika, you were among activists suggesting that the cost of living was beyond the reach of many Zambians. And Zambians at the moment are still facing the same challenge. How urgent is this issue, especially when it comes to the government attending to the issue of the high cost of living, especially that if we are still talking about over 8,000 according to JCTR for a family of 5. So now, how should we move on addressing this issue?
Yeah, the economic fundamentals that trigger the high cost of living are still alive and kicking. Although the government now has begun to try and tackle them, and one of those economic fundamentals is inflation. The other one is the macroeconomic issues pertaining to interest rates in the banks, pertaining to other production sector, which is supposed actually to drive these things, are still not really there. That is what is pushing the cost of living. And we are an import-oriented country. And any small change that happens in the world has a direct effect on our pricing of goods and services that are provided. If you go to Pick and Pay, you go to all these that we import, they are directly, influenced by things that happen. When there is disturbances like we have now in Ukraine and in Russia, you see that the price of cooking oil just shoots up. When the kwacha loses value, you see most of the goods that ordinary life of many Zambians have so many cars, and they need to repair these cars. So when the kwacha is jumping up and down, the prices of spare parts go up. When the kwacha is and the oil market is up there, the fuel is up, it just reflects immediately into so what should we do? So we should find ways and means of dealing with it. At the level of government, it is the duty of government to make sure that it puts in measures and a platform in which there is allowance for goods and services to begin to slide down. That is at the level of government.
Okay.
Making sure that the platform, making sure that the environment under which government business is performing and is working is conducive to the extent that the private sector can create jobs, the private sector can leverage the prices so that people can afford. If prices are high, business also suffer.
Yes.
I don't know whether
it's
there's nobody who's doing that because people can't buy anything. And so if you are selling in your shop, your goods are not moving. So what profit are you making? It is difficult. That is on the side of the government. The government has a huge responsibility, especially as we move in 2023, looking at learning from lessons of 2022 to try and making sure that the environment under which we are operating, the environment under which the ordinary men and women in Zambia are living, is conducive for them to begin to unlock their potential to develop this country.
Unlocking the potential is the key word. We are cruising now because we are
just one
very
little
minutes.
thing.
Yes.
I was talking about government side. On the Zambian side, on individual, you and me and others.
Yes.
You know the issue of CDF.
Yes.
We are not. Yes, we are not making use of this opportunity. I meet ordinary men and women in the streets, and they always say, no, this CDF thing is not going anywhere. It is stuck, and we are not benefiting. We don't know what to do. Yes, they are right, because the many ordinary men and women at the lower level were not taught by anyone how to start an organization, how to start business, how to do anything. They're just ordinarily selling, marketing. Like, even how do you make sure that your business of selling tomato begins to grow? What is happening is buy from the suppliers, those who come to Soweto, buy the boxes and Tantamika Parod, then start selling. Now CDF is telling you, no, you can actually increase that business by acquiring this money. But for you to do that, you must put on paper what exactly you want to do and how exactly you want. It is not a question of just give me this money, I go and buy a case of tomato, Tantapinga Parod and start selling. You are not connecting your loss, you are not connecting what profit you are making. So that is unusual for many marketeers and many ordinary men and women. So there's need for education in that sector so that you will help them. So if we help them and they are able to run their business efficiently, what is going to happen is that every household will have spare money to spend, even at the village level, at the household level, because they are able to access money from CDF, from banks, and so on and so forth. So those two must begin to speak to each other. The government providing the proper environment, the communities seizing the opportunity to make sure that they use their intelligence, their resources, and also their capacity.
We surely hope 2023 will be a different ballgame, because this year, really, most of the complaints that have come from CDF were the guidelines were not very clear. Maybe they came in late for different constituencies. People didn't understand the know-how of how they can acquire these resources. At the same time, this issue, song of cooperatives. What is this cooperative thing? People probably didn't even understand this thing. But we hope that next year, 2023, people will understand and they will
talking
know
about
how to go
cooperatives
about
and also the guidelines of CDF. You have to weigh in between just dishing money to people without any guide, so that people just like Tantameni. Yeah, you just give them money. And then there is nothing that guides you. It's problematic. I was arguing at the meeting we had to consider the guidelines that we should not create a situation where Zambians feel that there is free money that can be given anyhow and people benefit. But we must guide Zambians that if you do this systematically, it will be sustainable and they will be able to improve their livelihoods. What is missing is that the technocrats have delayed in trying to
explain
simplify.
Or educate.
Explain is one thing, but simplify the way they can access. For example, now they are asked to do a business plan, and other people at home they've never done such a business plan. So we were arguing and we were saying, no, on the portal of CDF, can you come up with a simplified form which just says name, what business, this and this, all these technical things, leave it to technical to help the communities to make sure that you put it properly. But for you, if you want to just apply with a simple form you fill in and you submit that. So that will be quicker. Then the technical then can move in and say, because there's a provision for technical support within CDF, then they can be helped to make sure that ordinary men and women in the streets, anywhere in the villages, can be able to access this fund, because it has become very, very simplified, and then they can access it. And I can tell you that sometimes odd things die hard. Yeah. There
Most
are some
of the
people,
times.
I've heard strange stories of how some of the politicians were benefiting from CDF when it was coming directly into their constituencies. They would push it aside and invest it in some interest-making thing. And then wait until they make profit. That's when they bring it to the constituency to try and do one or two things, even when it was only 1 million. Now those are practices that are retrogressive. So some people who were used to doing such a thing, when you come with a new thing, they would really lambast it and kick it to and paint it black because it has not unlocking this time. It has locked the avenues of siphoning and the avenues of stealing.
Are we moving towards the right direction with CDF? Because we've got a lot of resources. They haven't been used. One of the arguments that was advanced by one of the CSOs was we cannot be moving one financial year to the next. It's retrogressive in terms of how we can be accountable as a country for these resources. The Minister of Finance clearly mentioned that the money which has not been used up this year will be moved to next year. But then those have argued to say it's not fiscally fit for us as a country to be doing that.
In terms of public resources management, yes, it's not good to overlap into another, because the budget that was approved is for 1 year, and then you have money that was approved in that budget spilling over to another year. So it means you have to do two processes. So the money that goes into the new budget has to be factored into the new budget. It can be done. Only that in practice it's not good. But with the circumstances that we are in, it will be, for me, this is my own personal view, it will be unfair to withdraw all the money that has not been used and back to the central government and start all over again. Since money is already in the community, it is still there, let those that haven't benefited continue benefiting.
I would argue, Mr. Kavika, that it is a gimmick to ensure that probably before the resources for 2023 are ready, they should be still maneuvering with those resources for 2022 while they are buying time to raise resources for 2023.
What kind of thinking is that?
Exactly what you mentioned.
Precisely, because you see, the government works in such a way that you have your budget this year. So all the money that are in the ministry and all that are supposed to be expended at the end of the year. Okay? Come next year, there's a new budget. In the new budget, there are new avenues of resource mobilization. And people will give you more money. So if you think like that, it will become problematic. I was running when I was Carita Zambia Executive Director, we used to have a situation where we have a project which is ending by view of a contract in 1 year, but before by the time we are ending that contract, by that project, we still have a balance of quite an amount of money. So what do you do? Do you send the money back to the donors? A very bad practice. You send the money back to the donors. You have no capacity to absorb the money. But these things are humanly created. So you negotiate with the donors. We haven't used all the money, but we still have this activity that we didn't finish because of COVID, we didn't finish because we are suffering from this and that, so we want to continue further with this amount. Then the donor write back, no problem, we'll give you another 6 months. Then you sign an addendum in your contract, and you continue using that money. That's why I asked you, what kind of thinking is that? Because this thing, it is not put in concrete that when money is given and it's not used, therefore it must return. No, you can discuss around it to see the best way out of the situation. In this case, we have started using CDF with such an amount for the very first time. And so you will see that there are these problems that are there.
It's expected.
So what is best? For the central government to withdraw all the CDF back to it, or allow the communities that have not yet benefited to continue benefiting from the projects that they have set for this year, so that they have the funds next year.
But what about
as we wind up, Patrick, take note.
Yes. What about if you release the funds at once, or what about if you make sure that the project implementation cycle is met within the 12 months?
Releasing at once. That practice has
over the years, experience has shown that it becomes dangerous. So they say CDF is 27 point something, then you give all the constituents at a goal 27. You have no chance to try and see how you are performing. Even donors, when they give civil society organization money, all civil society organizations will tell you that there is no donor that gives you all the money in your project. They will give you the first 40% or the first 50%. And you work out and make reports, and then they give you the remainder. That's how it works in financial management. Because if they give you all the money, no one knows what will happen. You start to, like some people were, making a joke that when you don't finish the money, what you do is hold a party and kill 1 or 2 cows. And so an awareness of it.
We'll suffer for this money. We'll suffer for this money. Anyway, Mr. Kabika, in your concluding remarks as we wind up this very interesting conversation. I'm calling it a conversation because we're just reflecting on 2022. As we go forward, what our expectations are, and just summarize the whole thing.
So for me, I've dotted my expectations here. Let me just go through very quickly.
Okay.
Yes.
In agriculture, the question of FISIP. I'm hoping that the government is going to reform FISIP so that the farmers begin to benefit directly themselves. And in terms of agriculture, I'm hoping that the government will begin slowly to move towards agroecology and speak less with industrial agriculture. That's where we are coming from. And we haven't sustainably dealt with the issue of food production and all that. And it is injurious to the climate. Let's move towards agroecology. The UPND manifesto states that the party will progressively move towards agroecology. So I'm not speaking from something that is new. They know it. So let's move into that direction. For me, having experienced how NAMBOD was working, National Marketing Board of Zambia, NAMBOD those days was working, there was no FISIP. There was not this perennial annual traditional ceremony of every time flagging FISIP, flagging this. There was no such a thing because farming is throughout the year. Therefore, farmers must be able to access fertilizer if at all you are going into that direction of fertilizer, although I don't subscribe to it. Fertilizer must be available for farmers at any time. You don't have to say, no, in September it must be ready, then we flag it off. No, it must be there. During NAMBOD time, it was there in the communities, in the local areas. They just walk to their next depot. If they want to buy, they buy. If they have no money to buy, they are given LP or a loan. They sign and they are given the number of bags that they want. There is no one who dictates the number of bags they want, like it is in FISIP, that no, we'll give you 8 bags. The government did not spend any money to buy fertilizer. They just necessitated the atmosphere in order for NAMBOD to make sure that the fertilizer is not expensive. And so, for me, that is a system that would be very good because anyone can access inputs at any time they want to without really waiting for the farming season is coming, bring fertilizer, bring this. Climate change issues, I'm not a proponent of carbon trading. This is my reason. Why should you allow others to pollute, to continue polluting, and you agree to say, no, we are going to plant trees to absorb the pollution that they have done? In other words, you are encouraging them to continue polluting. When are you going to stop them from polluting? So if we keep this carbon trading, no, there is money available for carbon trading. It's the industrial corporations that want to continue polluting. Because you in Zambia or somewhere else or any other country, you buy, you grow trees, you keep the forest in order to absorb the pollution. You are participating in killing the climate. If you want to stop carbon, it is those who are polluting that must change. For us, we must continue doing the plants and so on, but we must not be enticed to take money so that they continue polluting. I have a problem with that, a very, very serious problem. Okay. So in climate issues, I want government to move very seriously towards restoring ecosystems that have been destroyed. Councils that offer plots in dump areas and areas that are ecologically sensitive, that must stop. So that we can be able to recover, and then we will have no problem with the waters in the Zambezi. We will resuscitate the rivers. We want the rivers to start, the streams and others to start flowing again.
we can review on the mining. We've already said about the KCM and the other thing, but also HH talked about new investment in the mine. The key thing that any mining that should happen must benefit the local community. It is already provided in the constitution. What the government should do in 2023 is to put up some subsidiary law to make sure that that is implemented. The constitution is very clear. It says any investment in the local area must benefit the local community and their economy. So let us make sure that we actualize that through a statutory instrument, through a subsidiary law, so that the new mine that will come will work under this provision.
Okay.
Parties, UPND and all
30 seconds.
Yes, 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
UPND and other political parties. This is a time for them to make sure that they promote intra-party democracy within themselves. They are, instead of screaming and doing all kind of engagement that we are seeing now, they should unite and begin to talk about electoral reforms. Now that we have new people. Lastly, for Pilato. Now that is the president secretary. I don't know that shall be calling you Pilato or what. But anyway, because the level we should change. Yeah, we should now get used to call him his real name.
Yes.
Pilato. But it's issue of culture, which is very good. The challenge that I give him is that Zambia needs to really promote its culture. Its culture is being swallowed by too many things around land management. You know, land management, we have customer land tenure system. Many people are overlooking this. We must promote our customer land tenure system. The government must make sure it protects, because that is part of our culture. We kill that, we kill our culture. Food systems. We must not be swallowed by all these multinational companies and others that are into this food system and seed. We have local seed, indigenous seed system, food systems. We must promote that. The president talks about Buy Zambian. We have a campaign of Eat Zambian food, Eat African food. Pilato must take, because that's culture.
We must look at that.
Yeah, so
this is where we end the message to Pilato.
All right. Thank you so much to the viewers for tuning in. Join us again tomorrow on The Business for Breakfast. Good morning.